People are not asking for this entity to be dismantled for no reason at all. Who doesn't want to feel safe? But if you are not making people feel safe and you're adding to the crime, you're adding to the pain that's already been inflicted in our communities, what do we need you for? If that measure would have passed, that would have really showed the community that they cared about what happened to George Floyd, that they cared about all of the people that led up to George Floyd. That would have really showed that it did make a difference, that we do care about lives beyond Caucasian lives. We actually do care about Black, Indigenous, and minority lives. A change in the structure and the reform passing would have made a big difference, because we need people to show up that are specifically trained and have a passion in certain areas. I've attended classes where I've seen how the police are trained, and they're basically trained like they're headed into war. When they go into our communities, they're not trained as if they're going into communities with other human beings. Having a mental health staff show up, someone that's trained, that has that capacity to deal with the situation. This was the epicenter. This was the beginning of hearing our voices, of hearing the cries of the people who have been crying out for help, that have been crying out for change. And they have a chance to set the tone. They have a chance to show the world that people's lives matter. No matter your skin color, no matter your economic status, no matter what you look like or what you have or don't have. If you hurt another human being, we will make the necessary changes. They had a chance to show that, and they didn't. They failed. There has been over 470 murders at the hands of law enforcement here in the state of Minnesota. And my son's father, Justin Tigan, was one of those murders. I provide support groups for families all over that have lost loved ones at the hands of the police. I see their pain. I've seen the mothers cry. It's a pain that I cannot describe to you. These are people that took an oath to protect and serve. And yet they have caused more pain to our community, and they go on with their lives and they go home to their families. You know, just because we're Black doesn't mean that we're not human beings. It doesn't mean that we don't love our loved ones that they took from us. They stole them from us. And we have to go on the rest of our lives knowing that we may never see justice because we're Black. We have to keep the hope in our hearts alive, even though it does get discouraging, even though it is hurtful, even though it is painful to keep going at times. It's hard to fight so hard for something and then nothing comes out of it. But it doesn't mean that nothing's going to come out of it overall. It just means that it didn't happen right now. I refuse to give up.